I'm Mike, this is Alex. We're so grateful and blessed to have had the opportunity to go to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil back in August, along with Derek, Ian, Marcarius, Kyle from this Corps, but they served on a different team while we were there. And they talked about their experiences a few weeks ago.
So what you're seeing on screen right now is a video montage put together for the Salvation Army International Sports Ministry Department. It's all of the Rio mission teams from all over the world in action over the whole Olympic month. Hopefully you recognize a few people as you watch this.
So, to give you something to watch instead of us. But as we begin our journey, there were lots of unknowns. People had all kinds of wisdom from here locally to share with us about things that they didn't really know either. From just our group of 20 splitting into two different teams, the language barrier that they speak Portuguese there. Spanish might have been a little easier, but Portuguese is similar. Mosquitoes carrying Zika virus, to locals robbing the tourists, all because of the Olympic Games, easy targets. We weren't sure what to expect at all when we went.
So they told us to be prepared and be flexible. Plans had been made and the host Corps was great. The local Brazilian Salvation Army friends were so amazing and hospitable. It's actually been my second time doing missions in Brazil, so I actually got to meet people there that I met 2 years ago, and now they're cadets, so it's really cool to see how guys work their lives. The country's beautiful and people are just amazing.
So a little bit about what we did. Our group traveled every single day, so we all slept at the Maier Corps, which is where Derek and his crew were, and they stayed there. But our group traveled every day to the Rio Comprido Corps with a young adult translator, and we were just on our way. Every day we walked to the bus stop, and this is a pretty common commute for most Brazilians, especially the folks that attend the Corps and that the Army serves there as well. But we would walk from the Maier Corps about 4 blocks to a bus stop, then we'd take that bus to a metro train, then we would do a metro train transfer. Sometimes we literally had to suck it in to get on the train because we were all packed in there like sardines. I've never experienced anything like that. We got really close, yes. And then from that second transfer, we'd walk about 1.5 miles to the Corps, and then we would start our day with the Corps kids and families.
So if you guys are Fitbit friends with me, you guys know that I was easily doing 25,000 steps a day. So I got my workout for sure in Rio. So transportation is something that I personally take for granted. Like Mike said, walking so many steps just from one place to another where I can just take my car and just go. I definitely took it for granted. So our first day, we split again, and then Mike's group went to the local square of shops and a playground with balloons and flyers to invite the local kids for our mini Olympics we had at the Corps. I got to go to the favela where most of the Corps kids' families came from. I got to play soccer with the kids while the officer and translators talked with the parents. If you guys don't know, favelas are the Brazilian term for the slums, poverty-stricken areas that are sectioned off and guarded by community drug lords. They say who comes and goes. So we found the Salvation Army is respected and is appreciated for the love for their children in most favelas. They were not too sure if they want to bring a huge, obvious group of Americans, so I got to go because they said I was the least threatening.
So then we decorated the Corps with colorful flags and banners, what you might expect for like a mission trips with sports theme. And then we got to take turns the following days walking and picking up the kids on that. It's about a 20-minute round trip from the Corps to go to the favela and then bring the kids back with us. We played a lot of active games, did sports with the kids. Then they had a snack and a devotion every single day with the kids that came.
A memorable moment for me was watching on TV the Olympic gold medal football match with the local young adults at the Rio football. My Portuguese is still not good, but that's Spanish. Okay, anyways, it was at the Rio Comprido Corps, and if you guys didn't know, Brazil won in a shootout. It was really dramatic, and it was really fun to watch with the locals because they celebrated, they cheered, and they sang. So just a love of the sport and just love of the country was amazing to be involved with.
Yeah, and I would add, their Corps building was probably wall to wall was about half of this chapel and not quite as deep. So they had a lot of movable pews and benches, and we ended up to do our activities in there. They didn't have a gymnasium, so we took all the pews and just kind of pushed them to the side, and then we did the activities kind of where we might have this parquet floor. Had about 30 kids on any given day. So we learned and saw firsthand how even though there might be a language barrier, sports can be that common language to create fellowship and community. And in turn provided an opportunity for ministry to share about God. So all over the city they had small fenced-in concrete areas, like we might have basketball courts. They had a soccer pitch on that concrete. The kids would play bare feet, and they were so incredibly fast. We still lost pretty handily. We also got to play with some of the young adults, I think you saw in that video, on a parquet hardwood surface that we might play basketball on, and there were no hoops anywhere. There were only soccer goals, and that game was just so fast, but it was really cool to be able to kind of play with them on that surface as well. But one of my favorite moments was a non-scheduled time that we had, and we went to a park just outside of the favela to meet and play with the kids on one of those concrete surfaces for soccer. And Alex and I, for some reason, I was like the next most athletic, I guess. I don't know how that happened. But we ended up playing with some of the kids, and the little ones from our mini Olympics from the Corps, they encouraged me to go in the goal because I think they knew I wasn't fast enough to do anything else. But I don't think I was much help in the goal either. They shot so hard and so quick, and they could just direct it. But it was fun to get out there and play with them. And then the kids from the Corps that saw us kind of in their neighborhood and on their soccer pitch, they were so excited and they talked to their friends. I was just pretty much a joke out there. But some of the, and I think that was in one of the videos. If you looked really close, you could see me in my green shirt in the goal going this way, and the ball went that way. And
I was like, what are you doing? I was like, yeah, I remember.
So we were there. Yeah, I just said stop, look around. So it was beautiful. One of those cool moments that happened in that environment where the interpreter kind of came over to me, and Alex was still playing soccer with the kids, and he said, "Do you think anybody would kind of give their testimony? This is pretty common when we go to the parks. We'll ask somebody to give a testimony." And I was like, "I think you should ask Alex. I think this is something that he's familiar with, and being in Brazil and doing this before." And so that was a really cool moment for me, and I'll let Alex kind of talk about that.
They picked me because my Portuguese is so great. So with our interpreter, Mateus, he had the kids all gather around and sit, and I just shared my story of playing soccer back in high school. And so I just was talking about how living for God was better, playing for a mission, playing for a purpose. So with that, it was really humbling for just to do that in front of the kids. Again, language barriers are a huge thing, but just talking about God, that's one language. So we just want to thank all of you for partnering with us so that we can raise the funds to be part of this experience, serving God in Brazil through the Salvation Army. So thank you again.
We've all been changed through this. The scriptures tell us, we're all familiar, to go into all the world and make disciples. But that's not exclusive to leaving our local community. We should always be on our mission wherever we're going. Work, school, church, the store, kids sporting. Whatever we're doing, wherever we're going, that should be our mission, to have that desire to help others know God better through knowing us and experiencing life with us.
So with that, we just want to let you guys know that there are definitely opportunities for anyone to do missions just like us. There's a 6-week summer missions team, but only for the ages of 18 to 29. Then they're accepting applications right now. And then adults can do a short-term mission trip for about 7 or 14 days called Global Mission Trips. And if you need any information, you can follow SA World Missions on Facebook for updates on new trips. I was been blessed to have been on both of them, so it's really great.
How many S&T summer trips did you do?
3.
And that's your first global?
First global.
Goes to Rio. So and global missions are usually the older folks that can't do the summer mission teams, but we did have some young adults that were with us as well. And it was really cool to get to know those folks from the Salvation Army Central and worldwide. There were people from Iceland, Australia, Norway, and then the lady that Derek talked about, the Scottish lady from Canada. It was great. But the biggest impact that each of you can make individually on missions is through your prayer support and financial gifts to local world missions here at Royal Oak. So you already heard Mark talk about specifically the pasty sale that's coming up and even today's lunch. So another commercial. Stay after lunch. Help Kelly and Melanie on their upcoming trip to Cape Alaska. Thank you.